Hey, Folk Studio here with a very personal short. I'm just going to go ahead and rant and talk about why North America sucks for a while. It's personal, so that's why my hair is so personal. I'm not wearing makeup, for example, though I normally don't, for all you know. But why does North America suck at a competitive international level? Now, this is something that is kind of weird to talk about because, I'm from North America, I live in California. I want us to do really well because it makes me feel good. But look at other continents, other regions of League of Legends. Korea and Europe are the easiest ones to pinpoint besides North America. What are the best teams from those regions? Azubu Frost, Azubu Blaze are the number one, number two. European teams out of Europe, we have CLG EU, we have Moscow 5, SK has made quite a splash in the scene lately, and they're doing very well for themselves. So North America, we have our TSM, then we Dignitas CLG, North America ended up being the results for regionals. Why is that not really comforting? So TSM themselves, they're the best team in North America. Like, say what you will, they win tournaments. So if you're looking at just tournament results, they are by far number one. And they think that they kind of suck compared to other teams, and that, for example, CLG, EU, and Moscow 5 will shred them to pieces. So a lot of that is just because of their competition. So if you think North America is behind, and North American teams only practice with North American teams, they're not going to get much better. Like, you'll be stagnant because there is little room to grow. You can't develop your strategies. But just like, let's look at how a lot of pro players practice. So what is the easiest way to practice League of Legends? Solo queue. You can stream it. Like, if you stream scrims, you can give up strategies. You can give up how your team works. People can find weaknesses and openings. I remember before MLG Raleigh, I believe it was Monomaniac Ferric and Meat Playground were actually scrimming. Everybody, everybody from like every pro team that was awake watched those matches. It was just like, well, they might play them. They want to get as much information as possible, and like they tracked down those scrims and just kept watching them. But that's a problem scrims have. You can't really stream them. But a lot of players practice with solo queue. They can stream it. It's very easy. It's very accessible. Scrims are getting more and more popular. Some teams scrims for like 8 hours a day. I know Orbit and TSM were scrimming 8 to 10 hours a day before MLG Raleigh, and you get better doing that. But what does Moscow 5 do? They play a crap load of League of Legends. That is something that they totally do. But they also talk a lot. They communicate a lot. One of the things they do is just talk about cool things from the game. So, like, let's say you're playing League of Legends, you're like, well, I wonder if we can do this crazy BS strategy. That one strat that you'll tell four of their friends, two of them will be like, I don't want to do it. And eventually you finally get them all into a game and you try it and it fails horribly or does super well. That's innovation. That's how new strategies get formed. That's how you get these crazy metas. In North America, we practice mostly by playing. We don't talk. We don't develop strategies, and that affects us dramatically. That's why we were the last ones to do the lane swapping. That's why the only like crazy strategies we see coming out from teams tend to be CLG North America. Like, they had their crazy lane swaps, but they've always been kind of different as a team. They've always been out there doing their own strats. So really, we don't talk, and it shows. It hurts us quite a bit. We could be so much better, but we're so focused on the actual mechanical skill and just outplaying somebody that we don't really ever go into the strategy, ever into just getting better in ways that aren't just pressing Q, W, E, and R in the proper way, the proper time, in proper order. But practicing and talking aside, so we need to talk more as players in North America. Teams have to do it, but we as just the average little puppy, the more we talk, the more cool strategies come out, the more that someone else might see it and might get picked up in North America. Aside from that, a lot of it is also how we approach tournaments. So Dignitas, I believe that they mentioned against TSM that they want to practice, or they didn't have enough preparation time for the finals, and they wanted to have enough time to go ahead and prepare every single pick and ban that TSM might have done. That's nice and all, but I mean, I'm not gonna call it specifically Dignitas, but I'm using it as an example. Why didn't they have that done before regionals? Why didn't they have that done for every team? we don't prepare for tournaments very hard. We kind of go like, well, check out their what they play on Elo Buff or LOL King or whatever, some website like that. Track them down. If they have something extra scary, ban it out. So if you're like, oh man, Afromu's got a really good Draven, ban that crap. I don't want to see it. Muffin Cutie plays good Leona. Let's just play characters that are good against Leona. That's not really developing a strategy. That's just kind of like playing it as you go by ear. Back when I used to do a lot more Go for Lows, all we would do is look at people's champion profiles and be like, who do they play a lot of? That's scary. Oh, that guy's a Lee Sin main. Lee Sin's scary. Let's ban Lee Sin. Yeah, back when Lee Sin was just god awful, horrifying. But we don't really study the games very well. We don't study opponents very well. Some teams, like for example Curse, they only run one strategy. It's a very good strategy. I'm not calling Curse out on that. But a lot of teams will, like, their strategy is going to be very based around being effective. Maybe level 6, level 7, one Jackie, who normally plays someone like Ahri or Morgana, who has this amazing level 6, level 8 game, and then, you know, Saint Vicious farming on Shyvana is super far ahead too. Like, that is their main goal, to have a really good, like, 6 to 8 minute mark game, you know, get dragons, get ganks, and grow from there. Some teams will pick up horrible compositions that have no, like, real strength at level 6 to 8, like maybe like Vladimir Mid or something like that, which is not someone you really want in the level 6 to 8 game. Teams just have to do their research, they have to know what they're doing coming in, and they have to know almost every possible choice that enemy teams will be making. Of course, there are cheese strategies, there are surprises. You can't anticipate everything, but so many teams aren't even anticipating like the basics of enemy teams that it really hurts them. So what can we do to fix it? Well, talk more. If teams start talking more, if we see teams coming onto Skype more often and just like chatting it up, going, hey, what if we go ahead and run Maokai top and, you know, go for like a Doctrine jungle, just because the route into the fear is going to be so effective. Like, just talking about stuff like that, talking about lanes, seeing changes in patch notes, being like, wait, if they affect towers like this, we can go ahead and start doing Y now. So CLG, I think that they found that towers in a way where you can split push very easily and get enough gold. If they reduce, say, for example, the global gold on the turrets, TSM CLG better very quickly stop going for split push strategies only. But I mean, who knows how good we are really? TSM did beat CLG EU at MLG Anaheim, but that was a huge cluster of just you know, drama and controversy because CLG EU apparently didn't have working headsets and they had a pee in a bottle or something like that. They just, like, it was a timing constraint, and CLG EU had actually made some mistakes of their own. It was one of those, like, nobody's fault, but it means that the match itself isn't that worthwhile for, like, looking back at. And I don't know. I'm scared for North America. I think we're going to get wrecked at finals unless those North American teams, CLG, Dignitas, and TSM, don't boot camp and start talking and playing and getting better. But, you know, it's not to say that we're inherently worse. It's a cultural thing. It's how we look at things. In Korea, like, people take it as a job. TSM Eagle, for example, Unstoppable X works as an accountant. They could not scrim very often because of that. They suffered quite a bit. So, as Riot continues to pump more and more stability into the scene, so for example, Season 3 will have salaried players. As stuff like that happens, the game will get more concrete in how teams can play it and approach it. Right now, someone like TSM, for example, let's say, or Dyrus, you kind of have to stream. Like, I don't know if he could make enough money. Well, he probably could make enough money off tournament winnings just to, like, maintain his lifestyle. But if he wants to get money, he has to stream. A lot of players are stuck in this little loophole where they have to, you know, play solo queue, stream, keep that up, because if they scrim and stream, they'll give up strategies. But with the money coming in from salaries, that won't be a problem. So we'll see what happens with North America. Like I said, I think we're gonna get wrecked at finals. If we played finals tomorrow and everybody was well rested and like somehow got to the same spot, we would get trashed. We probably would not take any top 4. But you know, 6 weeks, it's a lot of time for things to change. And yeah. So tomorrow will actually be an AP Rengar full-on daily, because I got an amazing replay for AP Rengar, and I cannot hide it. I cannot keep it to myself. It is so good. It is so good. But that is for tomorrow. This has been a fairly long short, actually. Adios, folks.